Page 4, clap hands. There's various other titles for this piece, but it's a fun little piece. At the top of the page they talk about binary form. The bi means two. Binary simply means a type of form where there's two parts, or two sections I should say, not two parts, two sections. They've labeled them for you. Section A is at the beginning. You always start with section A, unless it's an introduction. An introduction can be a section on its own, but I'm getting too far ahead here. Back up, back up. Section A is at the beginning, and section B is at the top of page 5, the different section. It simply means they're like two different songs put together. So they're two different melodies put together, sort of. Well, it doesn't really affect how you play it. You just play the notes. But some people like to understand the construction or how it's put together, and this is one of the things we consider on that. It might also affect the interpretation of the piece. We have to learn how to interpret music. Most teachers don't teach how to interpret music. I try to in these videos, but it's a slow thing over time. I just say a thing or two, just a little suggestion here and there, and over time you have to put them all together to get it all. Let's look at this more thoroughly. 3/4 times, so there's 3 beats in a measure, and a quarter note gets a count. The time signatures now should be, you should just know those instantly, what those numbers mean. Whatever the numbers are, it doesn't matter. You should know what these numbers are. But you always look at it at the beginning to check. What is the time signature? How am I going to count this? That does affect how you play it. But now let's review the notes and the rhythms. And I want to take it one hand at a time now to make sure we got each hand working, and then we'll try and put the hands together and get them to work together. The right hand, when it comes in, you want second finger on the E. And I'm assuming you know the names of all the notes in the music. If you don't, you need to go back through book 1 again and go through it again and make sure you drill yourself on the names of the notes. So here. And you got 2 quarter rests at the beginning, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then you have an F and an A, and then an F and a G together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now it's an E and an A, and then an E and a. So the rhythm's about the same. Let's go down to the last line. The first measure is rest, 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 rest. 1, 2. And now during the rest, you come up. Put second finger on the G's, just coming up to here. They've circled the number for you to tell you that you're changing. This is one of the things the Faber books do, is when you change positions, they circle that finger number. That's really not something you're going to see a lot in music. Generally they don't circle finger numbers because generally you're moving around constantly. You just know you have a finger 2 on the G, you know you have to move. So if I'm here, I know I have to move in order to get second finger on the G. So I do. During the rest I come up. Make sure you're there before you need to play it. And stay there. Then top of page 5. Remember, a dotted half note's the same as 3/4 notes. Just memorize that. And it doesn't matter what the time signature is, it's always the same as 3/4 notes. So if you know what a quarter note gets, this gets 3 of those, which is 3 counts. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Rest. Now they want you to come down here. I don't know where you are in this. This is good practice to move the hands around. We're staying in a nice neat 5-finger position. There are other fingerings for this, but I'm not going to bother with them right now. Let's just go ahead and move down here. Use third finger. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's tied. You don't play it again. You hold it down for 3 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, rest. And during the rest you come back up. 2, 3. Last line. 1, 2. Rest. rest, rest. I went kind of fast, but you go through and make sure you can play the notes and you understand the rhythm in the right hand. Then we'll do the same with the left hand. Starting with thumb on middle C, here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this is fun. Very exciting, ain't it? Let's go down to the last line on page 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And during the rest, you come down and put your thumb on G. So you hear rest. During the rest, come down. You have a C and an E together. I lower the hand down when I use weight to push the notes down. I don't use the finger muscles. And I simply lower the hand down, and I have whichever fingers I need are the ones that are low. And so here I have these fingers, and I'm just transferring weight to that side of the hand, and those fingers are down. Try and get them down at the same time. Then during the rest, you got to come up to this position, with fifth finger on the F. So you come down here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, rest. F and C, and then during the rest, you come back down here. You're moving around. 2, 3, 1. And then during the rest, you come back up. It's fun. Let's go down to the last line because you went back down. It's an F and a G. 2, 3, 2, 3, and then a C chord. All three notes. C, E, G. 1, 2. Like you had here. Once you can sort of do the left hand okay, and then try putting the hands together, and that's usually a whole new challenge. So we were starting right hand here and left hand here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Get the idea? I don't want to have to go through it. You do it. Last line, let's go down to the last two measures on page 4. You're still in this position, and you go here in the left hand, and during the rest, both hands have to move. The right hand has had rest during this. So I suggest as the left hand is playing these notes, get the right hand up where it goes, get it here and have it ready to go. That way, during that rest, and the next to the last measure, all you have to do is move the left hand down. See, when we start moving around on piano, we have to figure out how we're going to do it because you can't mess up the beat because you're moving around. And when you, especially here, the hands are going in opposite directions. That makes it even harder. So rather than keeping both hands here and then in one beat rest, trying to move them both where they go, if possible, we always try and move one hand at a time. It's not always possible, but here it is, because here you got rest in the right hand, so as you're doing the left hand, you can move the right hand up. And it's ready. Then all you got to do is focus on getting the left hand down. Here. And then to go on, the right hand isn't moving now, the left hand needs to come back up here. And you got 2 beats to do it in. So here. This is page 5. Just make sure you're playing the rests. Like in the first line, third measure over on page 5. You're here. That F is by itself. You have rest. Rest. And during the rest, the left hand comes down and the right hand comes down one note. Just one note. If you want to move them one at a time right quick, you can do that. Try doing both. We practice hand moves if we have to. It's okay. So anyway, you got to be down here. There. Last 2 measures of the second line on page 5. That's by itself, and hold on, it's a tie. You just add this to it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, rest. And during the rest, both hands come back up to where you were. Then in the last line, well, you've had to move the hand back, left hand down. Here, the right hand's staying there. It's here. Rest. So you work out the hands together, and then go back over the treble spots and get rid of any hesitations you've got. It has to be a steady beat. It can be slow. It doesn't matter how fast you go right now, but it's got to be a steady beat. No hesitations. Once you can do that, then we add the articulation. That's a big fancy word, huh? Simply means how are you playing the notes. Well, on page 4, you got staccatos all over. And I'm going to hinge at the wrist, and these are short staccatos. And I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off each time, and I put the hand back on the key before I play it again. If it's slow enough. If it's not slow enough, you don't have to, you have to do that. But keep it a small motion. Don't go crazy with it, because then you'll start missing notes. So it's just short notes. And then on these, they also have an accent on them. You have a staccato and an accent. And on piano, an accent simply means you play them a little louder. That's all. Just give them a little extra oomph. Not a lot, just a little bit. There are stronger accents than this, so this is just a little louder is all. And then on page 5 in section B, this is all smooth and connected. This is contrast to what we were doing. Like contrast in music, it's nice to have things change up a bit. I wish today's music could do that. But here we're going to connect these. Rest. Play the first 3 lines all connected like that, except the rest. And the last line you go back to the staccato. And then accent, just a little extra. Once you're kind of comfortable with the articulation, then we add the dynamics. Dynamics apply to the melody, but on page 4 it's all melodies. Play them both the same. And MF is mezzo forte, or moderately loud, medium loud, sort of loud. It's not loud, it's just sort of loud. Whatever you think that is. It's not a set level. It can change from situation to situation, you know. That makes the accented notes loud. You go up a notch. Like so. Then on page 5 in section B, you come down to moderately soft. It's sort of soft, medium soft, mezzo piano. And it's the melody. This is sort of soft. The left hand now has to go down to soft. It needs to be in the background. We don't want the left hand the same because it's just, ugh. So keep the left, and this takes time. Now I'm asking you to be working on this. Some teachers don't teach this yet at this level. I do it right off the bat. The melody is what we want to hear. So you got to learn to play one hand louder than the other, and it could be either hand, because the melody can be anywhere. So practice, if you need to, practice this really loud and this really soft at the same time. You just got a lot of weight on one hand and very little weight on the other hand. And then you can tone it down, make this sort of soft and this very soft at the same time. And you're staying there until the last line you have that hairpin or that sideways arrow. You're going to go back up to loud. So you're going to go from moderately soft to loud. So I'm suggesting in the first measure at the bottom you stay moderately soft. This in the left hand now can come up and be like the right hand. This is more like it was on page 4. Moderately soft, and now come up to moderately loud. And come up to loud here. Be loud on the first beat, not the third beat here. So again, moderately soft, moderately loud, loud. And then for the accented notes, the accents make them very loud. Very loud. But don't tense up and play with a stiff wrist. Let the wrist collapse on this. Stay relaxed as best you can. You're just using a lot of weight here. That's all. Then finally we add the speed. Well, lively. It has to be your lively, not my lively or somebody else's lively. It has to be accurate. So find the hardest part in here, the part that's causing you the problems. How fast can you play that accurately? That's how fast you can go. Because this is a happy song, and it can go quite fast if you want it to. That's my lively, not your lively. You got to do it your way. Now, just a little bit about interpreting. Let's just talk about interpretation as we go through the book. The first thing to think about in interpreting music is the natural accents. A natural accent is an accent that happens naturally. Well, duh. That is, it happens all by itself. So you feel it. When you're dancing to music, you're feeling the natural accents. Whether you know it or not, you are. And the strongest natural accent is the first beat of a measure. Here in 3/4 time, it would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1. You feel it, and you feel this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So those notes are just a hair louder than the other notes, and it isn't because you're forcing it, it's because you feel it. You feel 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. The accented notes are forced. That's not like a natural accent, that's a forced accent. So feel the natural accents here, that's the first step. The other thing about it that I'll mention now for now is when they give you articulation and dynamics and things, they're telling you suggestions on how to interpret the music. That's what these are for. Otherwise, all they had to do is just give you the notes. Hundreds of years ago, that's all they did. You didn't get any staccatos or legatos or nothing in there. They just gave you the notes, and you had to know how to interpret them. You wouldn't have to know that these are short, and these are accented, without the music telling you that. Well, today, the music gives you all kinds of suggestions on how to do this, and that's interpreting. So you got to get comfortable enough with the music that you feel this and you understand why it's a staccato simply because it feels right. Yeah, and the section B is smooth. Well, it feels right. It wouldn't do to staccato those. That's not the purpose of this. I mean, this needs to be a contrasting thing. The point is, you got to get to know the music well enough you can feel this stuff. Don't first you're forcing it to try and get it to happen, but then get into it and start feeling the music. That's where the magic happens. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics, louds and softs. No, I'm going to play both hands about the same. I will do the staccatos and the accents. You should be playing the same note I'm playing at the same time I'm playing it. That's the purpose of this. Make sure you don't have wrong notes and make sure that your rhythm is correct. Now this is after you've learned it. Make a point to try and learn it first and then check it with me. Don't try and learn it with the play with me. You're not learning that way, you're just copying. So I'm going to give us 3 counts. 1, ready, go. That's 3 counts. And let's play this together. 1, ready, go. 2, 3. Rest, rest, rest. Rest. 2, 3. Rest, rest, rest. 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 Rest.